is I'm going to somehow get this back end up in the air. Maybe if I have to put a couple of axle stands under it, lift that up and that back wheel's coming out. I'm going to make a start on the back end while I'm waiting for the other bits, because I can't lose a weekend. So what I've done, I've slid an axle stand in there, put it on the middle of the swing arm there, and it's given me enough clearance now hang on, we're on a piece of wood, that's why, hold on. Right, now we've got it, it's sitting on there nicely. Bike's pretty stable, so it shouldn't go anywhere. So now I can proceed with getting the rear wheel off. Shocks have got to come off again, even though we've sort of put them on, because I'm going to paint all these up as well, so that's a good opportunity. So I can start getting after this back end. So my job this evening when I finish work is to strip this wheel out, get the wheel off, get the brakes out, and then we can start putting the new tyre on, cleaning up the swing arms, spraying that. But if I get all the shocks and everything out, gives myself really good access into there. Potentially this mud guard can come off, and then it's free just to get after that last bit. We can check the swing arm bearings and do all that, and then get going. So right, if I've achieved nothing else this morning, that's a good bit to do. Right, first thing we've got to do is get this R clip off, get that out, and then we can undo the nut, undo these two and push the wheel forward, lift the chain off, hopefully get this thing out. Right, these little adjusters here are 13mm, so I've managed to get some WD-40 on them, so I'm just going to take these and back them right out, and then once we've undone this, which I've now got that pin out of, the whole wheel can push forward. Oh, I can't do this one-handed, let's leave it there. Right. Oh, can I get this to brake? That's got it. Yes. So that now means, yep, that's gone. Yep, finger tight. Just run that all the way back out. Right, now we're going to run the dirt back down through it. Right, I'll save the battery a bit and the SD card and continue backing that out. Right, the wheel spindle is right out, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to crack off and take off the chain guard. If I can get at these bolts. And they're loose. Right, let me just get these two out. We'll pull the chain guard off. Then in theory we can lift the chain off easier then and slide the wheel out. And why is that not coming off? There it goes. Right, stuck again. Right, one chain guard. Lay that down over there. Right, so we can push this wheel forward, I think. Hang on. So why's the wheel not going forward? Because it's stuck. But what's it stuck on? I think the chain's actually stuck on it. Let's try and pick the chain off. Will that lift off? Sort of. Right. Ah, it's come back on again there. Can't see. Ah, hang on. The brake rod's still on. I thought there was something stopping it. Look, I've still got this bolted on. This little rod here, that's why the wheel won't go further forward. So let's find a spanner and get that off, then we should be able to get the wheel off. Right, take two. Let's see if we can move the wheel now. Yes, lovely, right forward. using my brake spanner pliers. Can we get this chain off? Yeah, we can, and I've gone the wrong way. Ha! Brilliant. Ah, what a legend. Hang on, let's get that way. That needs to come round and out that side. Right. It looks like hey, I have the back wheel out. Lovely. Right, let's take that out of the way. Oh, yes. Right, then we're all free inside. Let's have a look at the wheel. God, Jesus, that's a heavy old rear wheel I've got there. Hang on, I better turn this off, because otherwise we'll have the YouTube police after us. Right, so there's the wheel, complete with cobwebs, God knows what, and stuff on it. Now I've got to, at some point, oh, God, that is one meaty old bit of wheel, that is. I don't know whether I need to replace this sprocket or not. The teeth on it look quite good. Yeah, they're quite sharp as well, so I don't think we need to replace that. Obviously we've got to clean it all up, clean all the wheel up, and you can see here, if I'm getting the right light, some of the cracking in the tyre down, it's completely split there, which is a shame because that's got a lot of rubber on it, but you can't ride round on like 20, 30, 40 year old rubber. So we've got to get this off carefully with this still attached. And then this side, we pull that out. There's the brakes. Still a fair bit of meat on the back ones. But again, they're quite rusty, and they're not expensive, the back ones. The back ones are readily available and quite cheap. And the back ones are only a single pull, so they're a lot easier to make work than the front ones. There's a fair bit of stuff in there to get off, and then you've just got this one arm that pulls the brakes here, like so. And you've got your little meter there. That all needs cleaning up. So actually we could take that out of there and lose that. Yeah, I'll have to check your wheel bearings. That doesn't feel too good on the back. Just stuck my finger in there, and yeah. Now I've got it in a bit better light, so you can see the crack all the way along here in the tyre. Another bit there. That's just where it's been deflated. The rest of it's not actually in bad condition, but we've gone bigger because that's a 4.10. Or did I go to a 4.10 again? I think I did. I can't remember what size tyre I got now. Can't see the tyre size. Yeah, I've got another 4.10 18, so we've got the same amount of rubber on there going back on. So that's good. So I'm going to have to clean this up first of all. I'll go and get a brush and just brush all this crap off. Give that a bit of a clean up. Make sure that's all good. The cushion rubber's inside. I had a puncture not long before I took it off the road, and when the guy came out he wobbled this and the cushion rubbers inside were knackered, so I've got a brand new set of cushion rubbers in there, and that's thick old rubber in there, so that's solid. That's not going to move at all. I don't want to take that out if I can. Although I suppose I should do and have a look inside, but yeah, there you go. And then we'll get all this cleaned off. I'm going to get rid of all the grease off this cog, clean all that up, clean all around the rim, and then we'll start getting the tyre off. Let's do that now. Right, I've cleaned all the tyre up, giving it all the brush off. So the next thing I'm going to do is loosen that off, get the nut off of there to get the tube out. And then I'm going to flip it over, and I'm going to take off the cog so we can clean all the inside up there. We'll double check the cushion rubbers. I better check them as I'm in here. And then we'll start taking the tyre off. Right, the fun starts here. Let's try and get this out. It should just pull out, although it might need a bit of gentle persuasion, shall we say. It's been in there for a few years. First thing I want to do is just clean up generally in here where the cushion rubbers go. It's a bit black in there, so I'll spray a bit of brake cleaner in, just get all the dust out, make that a nice clean seat for them to go in. So I'm not going to film me doing that, because basically it's just me spraying brake cleaner into here and cleaning it out. So that's all cleaned up in there now. Got my gloving shot there, hang on. What I'm going to do is I'm going to run just some WD-40 over the top of these. You can see there's like just tarnish and cobwebs and God knows what on them. And then we'll clean them up, see what they come up like. They should come up like new again. They're only rubber, but again, then they can sit nicely back in there and hold the sprocket carrier in there nicely as well. So I'll just give them a quick clean. So all I'm going to do on these, as I mentioned, is just give them a bit of a WD-40, and I've got a little scrubbing brush here. Just going to give them a quick rub over with that, working a bit of WD-40. Just degrease and degrime all that crap off the rubber that's sitting on there, just so they look a lot better. And you can't see it, but there's black coming off of this onto the rubber, which means they're getting nice and clean. That side's done. I'll just show you me doing one. And then what we're going to do is take these gloves off so we can feel what we're doing. Put that in there. Give it a good rub over. Got the WD-40 off. And that looks a hell of a lot different to that. That's just what I want to make all four like, and when we put them back in they are like new. So let me just do those to the other three, and then that's another job ticked off the list. Well, it's absolutely chucking it down outside, so I'm going to fire brake clean around in here, clean all this up, and then I'll come back and show you how to Scotch Brite your brake linings inside in order to keep your brakes good. But yeah, I've got to do this in here today. You have to be careful when you're doing this, because there's brake dust in there which contains asbestos, so you have to be a bit careful. So that's completely cleaned out, all the dust is gone. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to Scotch Brite inside here. I'm going to have to turn you round into the light. So these pads in here, what we're going to do is we're going to spray a brake cleaner on, and in a circular motion going round, we're going to try and get rid of all of this rust off the surface of the pads here, make them nice and shiny, and then that way your brakes should be good. We'll also just do this lip here to clean that out. Well, unfortunately my SD card went flat earlier, so I've been trying to download some stuff, but I've cleaned up the back wheel. Look how that has come up. Wow. All in here's done. I've gone all around the edges here. So what I'm going to do now is chuck the tyre on. First thing I've got to do is get the spoke band off, the old one. Let me find a screwdriver. Right, so if we just dig down the side here. There's the spoke band, put it over the top. Out it comes. What we're quickly going to do, we're just going to go around. I think I'm going to wire wall around the middle of there, because there's not any sharp bits on the bottom of the spokes. There is a bit of surface rust, so I'm going to just give that a quick zip round first of all before I put the new spoke band in. The other thing I meant to say as well, just a bit of advice here, always chock your wheel, because if this rolls off of here and falls down on the floor, probably knackered me rim. And then when you walk out of here, always lay it down flat, don't leave it laying up there. Right, so we've got the valve stem, which is at the top here. Right, let's stretch this, get it on. Nice. Let me just position it where we want it. Make sure it's nice and central, because at the moment it's off to one side. Can you see what I mean? That's central, this is off. So what I've got to do is carefully go round, make sure this is nicely in the middle. The last thing I want is this offset, because it's there to protect the thing from the spokes. You want it sitting right down in the groove. We're nearly there. Just this little bit to centralise. Right. We're all good. That's lovely and central now. And what I mean by central is I've got the same bit of rim showing this side as this side. This is right in the middle and protecting the spokes. And being wider, it covers quite a bit more, which is good. But obviously the back wheel's a bit wider than the front. So, next job now, get the tyre on round one bit. We'll lay it down, lube it up, slip the tyre over, then we'll put the tube in, put the other thing on. We'll have to check the rotation band as well. Got to check which way that's going as well. Well, my Yuan Xing, that well-known tyre manufacturer, hasn't put a rotation arrow on the tyre. Now looking down on the tread, it doesn't matter whether you've got it that way round or that way round, still the same. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the tyre on, so you've got the name, and the name goes that way as we go forward, as there's no rotation arrow. Now on the wheel here, when you look at the bike from the left hand side, this is where the sprocket and chain goes in. So the wheel's going to be rotating that way. But it doesn't really matter now because the tyre can go on any way. But I want the wheel that side with the name here going that way as you pull away. So let's get set up and we'll get the lube, spray this thing up, see if we can get it on. Right, so what we're doing first of all is we're going to run around the edge of this. We're going to make our edge lovely and slippery. Using our window cleaner. Then we're going to take our tyre, which is here, and again we're going to run around the bead, around the edge. But what I don't want to do is fill the wheel up with the cleaner, and then we're going to take that, sit that on here. I've had these before where they sort of pop on if you can get them in a bit. It's got right, we'll have to spoon the rest on. I'll put some of it in. It's got it so far. Got about 3/4 of it on. Let's get a couple of lines up in under here. How far can we? I had a feeling this might be a bit of a pain, this one, because it's a big bit of rubber. This is where I need my helper. That's it. Right, we're getting there. The problem is, every time I do that one is popping out. That's in. We're almost there. That's it. Yep, we're almost in. Almost the last bit to go now. Come on. Right, that's the first side in. So now we need to put the tube in. And you can see how easy that is because I used that. And that makes all the difference. Lovely. Right, let's get the inner tube in now. Let me go and get that. Now, here's the inner tube that we want to put in. I'm going to put the valve part in first over here. But before I do that, I always want to put a tiny bit of air in, just so when you put it in, you don't get it sort of twisted or whatever. You can just lift and feed it in. But the hardest part is going to be initially getting this valve into that hole. So I need to find a little pump to blow it up first. Hang on. So just using a bicycle pump. Which doesn't seem to be putting any air in at all. Or is that not putting any air in there? Okay, that isn't putting any air in at all. What is that? I think it's putting some in, albeit slowly. Right, let me blow this up. So what I'm doing is I'm going to use the cushion rubbers to hold the tyre up, to give me a little bit of a working room. Just if I can get two in there. And that wants to come round a bit more. And get two in here. Hopefully. Ah, see, that's lifted the tyre up too high. I can't get in there now. Let's try it. There. There. Yeah, this is the hardest bit. Once you get that in, you're pretty much there. Let's go back a bit. It's lifted the tyre up too high. This is the awkward bit. Oh, Jesus. God. Right, I'm going to have to struggle with this off camera, have a fiddle, because it's going to take quite a while. As you notice, no wheel. There's two ways to put a tyre on. The first one is you put the inner tube in and then put it on the rim. But that's not my preferred method of doing it, because you can easily catch the inner tube when you're putting it on, and then you've got a puncture. But in this instance, I've got no choice but to do it this way, for the simple fact I cannot get the valve through the tyre due to the lack of movement. So I've got to get this in here first. With its air in it. As I say, I don't like doing this because there's a real high risk of you snagging the inner tube then getting it caught. Right, actually, let's do it round this way and you'll be able to see what I'm doing. So what I'm doing is I'm pulling that out slightly from there, from behind the tyre, and shove it through the hole. The spoke band's moved, that's why we can't get the thing in. But it's not going to keep doing that all the time. Right, let's get the inner tube. Hopefully you'll be able to see a bit better now. So I'm pulling this out of here, I'm shoving that through there, and put the little nut on. Just a tiny bit. Other way up. Right. And then that is going back in there. So now, I hate doing this because you're going to really risk doing the inner tube in. But that's what I've got to do because I can't get it on otherwise. Right, slide up the rim and we'll put it on again. Right, so it's all changed again. I've taken that all back out and I've got back to just the tyre being on with no inner tube in it. I'm not happy with doing it that other way. If I do it that other way, I'm going to catch it and we're going to end up with a puncture or a torn tube. So I'd rather play around here trying to feed the valve through and get it through properly and do it my normal way than the other way. And it didn't take long to take it back out again using the window lean cleaner stuff and then slip the tyre back on. It's just this bit of getting the valve through, because the more I open it up this way, it pulls the tyre this way, and then the edge of the tyre is this side of the hole, so you can't push it through. So maybe I'll get some tyre levers on the other side and lever that side open once the valve's in and maybe fit it that way. That might be the way to do it with this against the rim. But yeah, his problem is, because this is such a big bit of rubber, there's not much giving it. The other one was obviously easier, but this one, yeah, not so. Anyway, I'm having a break for a minute. Success is actually in there. Oh, how cool is that? I had to get my glamorous assistant out to help me. We must have been here, oh, I dread to think how long. Well, we've done it and it's in, so now we can feed the tube round, lube up, put that in. Oh, thank God for that. But both of our hands are hurting from doing that, but we did it. What I did was I put a tyre iron in, I put bloody tyre levers, sorry. What I did was I put a tyre lever in this side, had it hooked under the workbench, so it pulled this side of the tyre down, then lifted this up, she got her hands in and managed to feed it through. So let's get this tucked in. Oh, thank God that's in. I hate battling with inner tubes. And that other way that I was going to do it, you always risk snagging the tube. Although at the moment, this tube ain't going in. Oh, Jesus. That's a little tube. This tube. We haven't got this tube in. That's why it's not going in. It's not going down behind the bead. Ah, now it has. You you've got to be very careful when you put these on. You don't snag them. Right, so to coin a phrase, we will lube up. See you down on the floor for putting the tyre on. Right, let battle commence. Right, so I'm just putting some air into the tyre. Probably put it up to about 30 if I can. And yeah, it's going up. I think any of the tube is stuck under the rim. So anyway, I'll be back when that's blown up. Right, that's blown up and the bead is nicely seated all the way round. Same again all the way around there. So we've got a nice rear tyre now.